Okay, so there's this thing called entropy, and entropy is the breakdown of order into chaos, right? So if you think about, you leave an apple on the side, it breaks down, ultimately it starts to rot down, it turns into mush, and then it breaks down into all its molecules and its atoms, and ultimately just turns into soil and mush and just dissipates. And entropy is basically the natural order of things. So the universe wants to find this equilibrium. Everything in the universe wants to break down into its most basic structures until the universe is this kind of ultimate soup, just a soup of vibrating particles, all uniform, all vibrating together, just like a big, massive soup. And in order for that to happen, everything needs to break down. So think about everything that is in order breaks down. So trees, the leaves fall off, eventually the trees die, they rot down back into the soil. And while the process is still going and there's order, there's energy coming from the sun, entropy doesn't quite win. But everything wants to break down. When you take your foot off the accelerator in a car, eventually the car will slow to a halt. So that motion breaks down. Satellites orbiting the Earth, they need energy to stay up there. Eventually their orbit breaks down and they kind of burn up in the atmosphere. Planes in the air, they stay up because they have energy, they're putting energy into it. But without that energy, their flight would break down and they would crash. So without putting energy into stuff, everything breaks down. In the Tao Te Ching, which is Lao Tzu's kind of masterpiece about the way of nature and the way of life, he writes, when turmoil rules, go in. Problem with the Tao Te Ching is that there's not really an explanation for it. So you kind of have to interpret this. It's like poetry. There is a message there, and it's up to you how you interpret that. Dr. Wayne Dyer did a great interpretation of the Tao Te Ching. But there's this thing, when turmoil rules, go in. And I guess this is a message. So this is saying to you, when things are chaotic, you can either run away and hide, so you could go in. So when it's crazy outside, you can go inside and hide. Or when there's chaos, go in, engage, deal with it, input your energy to bring order to it. Because entropy isn't just about apples rotting on the counter. It's not just about things falling out of the sky. It's also about order in our own lives, right? So when we have our shit together, we have everything under control. You know, we are making our lunch for work so that we save some money. We're ironing our shirts in the morning. We're organized. Everything's under control. But when we hide from life, hide from the stuff that's going on, so, you know, we get aches and pains, but we don't want to go to the doctor. We have a bad diet and we pretend that that's not the reason we're overweight, or we have diabetes, or we're not getting enough exercise. When we're hiding from these things, that's entropy, and it's dragging us down, and it's making us ill, and it's making us disorganized, and it's making our lives fall apart. But when we input energy, like Lao Tzu says, when we engage, when we go in, that's when we take control of our lives. We're not waiting for stuff to happen. We're not sitting there waiting and seeing what happens. We're going in, we're engaging, and we're injecting the energy to keep entropy at bay. So we are engaging with life. You know, when you get your bank statements through and you're worried about the amount of money you've got, you can ignore those bank statements and you can let them pile up, and you can keep spending and you keep spending, and then one day you can't spend any more and suddenly you can't pay the rent, you can't pay your bills. When your teeth are falling out of your head, you can pretend that nothing's happening and hide from it. And you can keep eating sugary foods, you can keep eating unhealthily. When the wallpaper is peeling off the walls of your house, when your car is breaking down and is rusty, you can choose to keep ignoring it. And then one day you find your car doesn't start, your house has fallen down, you've run out of money, and you've got no teeth in your head. Or you can open those bank statements. You can start to take control of your financial situation. You can see, your teeth don't look right, so you go to the dentist, you deal with it. Or you get the builder to fix your house, or you get your car serviced. You take action. You take ownership of your life. When you're looking like a scruffy beggar like I am, either you can say that this is a style that I'm cultivating, which clearly it is because I'm one stylish dude, or you could say, I need to get a shave and a haircut. I've got a job interview. If you go to a job interview and you look like you've been dragged through a hedge backwards and you don't get the job, you can't really turn around and say, oh, life's so unfair. You've got to put the energy in. You've got to make things happen. You've got to take ownership of the situation. And it's not easy. I'm not perfect. I don't have a six-pack. I would love to be a wealthy guy with loads of money in the bank. But I'm not destitute. I'm not at death's door. I'm not morbidly obese. And it's from going in by engaging that starts to work for you. It starts to become something that you take ownership of. And then how far can you go in? How far can you take it? How far can you say, okay, I'm engaged now. I'm going to engage some more. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to start controlling my diet. I'm going to get super healthy. I'm going to get super wealthy. It's really up to us. We have to go in, because when we don't, turmoil rules. Okay, everything breaks down. Things get chaotic. It's up to us. It's like, how much chaos are we prepared to put up with? How much are we prepared to say, this is fine? Because ultimately, it's not, you have to engage and go in. All right, so there you go. There's my thought for the day. Have a good day.